Hello and welcome, as this is the crypto a day morning for the 19th day of September 2018, and this will be a look mainly at volatility, all trades and of the likes within one's own risk reward within the crypto space, and really all investing one does within their own life. Everyone's got different situations, and I'm never going to come out and say, okay, time to do this, time to do that. It's always up to everyone's own decision what they intend to do, how they intend to invest, so on and so forth. And I'm going to talk over and over. There's these lower highs. And from each one of these highs, there's this low. And then from this high, this low. This little area in here, this little area in here. And if this is the low, well, it's still matching because all of these lower ends pretty much at around the same point. Basically at around a good average of about, here we are now, about 6,100-ish area. And when we look at the size of these moves, trying to remove the drawing tools, there we go. When we look at the size of the moves, look at how small these candles are. And let me just reset the scale. There we go. I mean, this 3-day period is not done, but the last one, a low of 6,200, a high of 6,530. Differential, 330 points. That represents about 5%. And here, 63.24, 65.87, a differential of 260 points. That's under. It's basically in the 5% number. I can tell that this one's there too. So 3 consecutive periods of extremely low volatility. This decent sized red candle period. A high of 74.11, a low of 62.53. So that's a differential of almost that of 1,200 points, which that's almost 20%. When we look back within this 3-day time frame, from this low here, we have a low of about 59.20 and a high of 86.49. Differential is about 2,700 basis points. So 2,700 divided by 59.20, that's where I get my volatility from. Well, that's close to 50%. So there's going to be times of high volatility, low volatility. And what I've done is I went to bitcoincharts.com, and in here I got data. So I can get the daily, I can get term, you got the daily term, the weekly term. You got as low as the 1 minute time frame. And if you want to get old data, you can get the 15-minute time frame going back to 2011 or 12 if you so desire. It's a lot of work to do it, but it can be done. So you can get a lot of good free data from the site. But what I've done is I've taken the weekly data over the last 8 years. So I've got all this data and I've put it into the spreadsheet. I've calculated the volatility. And after, well, it's just the last 11 weeks. It's at 5%. I have looked at the data numbers. The last time a week has closed under 7.5% would take us to the end of the year 2016. So let's take a look back, and I'm just going to remove a bunch of numbers. I can bring this down, like take the last year or so. So there's a week right here. So maybe okay, this would have been a week. I would have missed that point. But either way, there's the higher volatility. This would have been closer to the highs and the lows. So the end of the year, and then really the March lows would be where the number 19 and 20 would be. I would presume such, 70%. But if we take this all the way back, we have a misprint date right around 245. I was planning on doing this raw at 245. There's sell 245 around here. Yeah, I've seen this problem happen quite often, so I'm just going to put a whatever number in. The close was 659. Okay, so obviously we got some old school data, but we can see within these cycles how just ignoring these two uptick moves, how you have an up move, it goes down, up move, it goes down, up move, it goes down, up move, it goes down. And it pretty much does that all the way through. So this has been the down move since about row 320 on here. But let's take a look at what happened roughly at around row 80. So this is where the data is in here. So this happened on April the 8th, 2013. The price jumped from $45 low to $259. Now, how extreme this is? Somewhat. But that just shows you the volatility. As time goes on, volatility for stuff like this is going to diminish. But the movements where you can have a market go from 200 down to 45, there might be some misprints in here maybe, but what I can do here is I can just change the scaling. And that will give us a general view here of how the volatility. So it pretty much started to get going at around row number 260, topping at 320. So let's take a look at those dates. So it got going August of last year. And then it 320. It was the top of the market where we had a 76 here. So that would have been the top in December. So its correctionary moves never, that wasn't the highest point. It was that of December. But you know what? I'm still really curious. And I can look at this on TradingView to see what happened during this April timeframe of 2013. So let's take a look. And see. And for this, let's do the 3-hour time frame. This is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to scroll everything. This is how I just look back at time. Now, you might need a premium service to get this much data. But I'm just going to scroll back and see what happened back in 2013 around April. Where are we now? 2016. I got a long ways to scroll back. 2015. So now I'm just waiting for the data, I guess, to actually download. Maybe it's not going to let me do this much. This is the most data it's going to accept, maybe. Okay, I'm just going to put this up to current time frame and maybe use the 400 minute. That's what happens when I plan a raw video, meaning I don't actually prepare exactly what I'm going to do, which is oftentimes what I will do. Although the plan was just go over Bitcoin with the lower highs and talk about the volatility, and then show the spreadsheet as of the point. So that part was planned. Okay, so here we are into 2014. Believe that's what 2013. I mean, look at the move in here. Just when you see it go from 100 to like 1200 straight up within this movement here. Just a phenomenal move. But I mean, that's the volatility. This is all accurate. When you look at it, this goes from 253, and then it has its sudden push lower again to these $40, $50 levels. And when you just look at the dynamic of trading this, from at least the buy low, sell high strategy that I've talked about, where when markets go up, you sell. So wherever the sell orders you had placed in here, you had, and all the buy orders filled pretty much immediately, at least down to $70 low in here. And if you happen to be there for the completion of this, you've seen it rally from 70 up to 190 the next period, have a consolidation period, and then this one individually, a high of 179, a low of 75, and a close of 144. So if you entered the trading or left the trading space at the open of this period and returned back 400 minutes later, oh, how did my portfolio do, you would say? You would see that all of your you would have sold within the last couple of periods from 700 up to, from 70 up to 170. And then all your buy orders you would see had been filled all the way down to like 80-ish, whatever. And you would see that with the price at that time at 144, yeah, I'd sell a bit, put some more buy orders in, and then you wait the next period, they all fill. Every single one down to 50. Then you put your sell orders in, and within the next two periods, it goes from 50 to 112. And then 112, the next period, down to 45. Ka-ching, when you look at the amount of buy low, sell high opportunities and how much volume and trade one is able to get. Now, what's important of note within this is Bitcoin's not going to be moving up and down like this again. At least not until it has some sort of major news of some sort. And I mean really major to get at this levels. But a lot of the other altcoins, maybe not to this type of extreme, and maybe to extremes even larger, but definitely to large extremes overall, will have these kinds of moments when the right moments are in place. Because you're going to have dull moments. You're going to have exciting moments and when you're talking about just movement is concerned, this is where the exciting moments come into place. When you look at periods like this is all dull moments within the market. So yeah, very interesting information. And just this period back in here, I mean, this is when the volume was really low overall. And there's markets out there that have this kind of volume, but within the period, when you have an open at 48, a low of 36, and a close of 44. That's interesting volatility. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.